Okay, library haul and also a surprise slash a rant. I will only mention that when we get to it. But without further ado, because I don't want to make it too much a long intro, let's get right into it. The good thing about these ones is that it came in so. I was gonna go tomorrow because I was like, oh, if it's last minute, I don't know if the person that drives me will be too happy about having to take me last minute. I've always been taught not to do that. Even if the person's like, yeah, no, it's fine. It's always just good to tell them at least a day in advance. And so I did that, and I wasn't sure the rest of the books would come in, and they did come in, which is nice. Or not nice if it's nice either way you put it. Alright, anyways, first up is count them, 6 OGNs. OGNs meaning I read these typically all in one sitting. This first one's going to be a bit difficult. Oh, I still gotta do, I'm gonna take that one out too. But the first one that you'll see, the one that I had from last time, Larry's book is right there. My closet is an absolute mess of comics that are not organized whatsoever. Because I have a system, and then I went against the system, and I'm like, well, they put these books here, and then I did, nope, and I can't do that, and now it's a whole mess, and I don't know where. Like, if you told me, find the floppy for this book, it would probably take me twice the amount of time that it ever should to find said book. It's not because of how many times I've gone through some of the piles, it's not as bad, but to have issue 1 of Black Widow on this pile and 2 through 5 in this pile is really silly. Or 2 and 3 on this side, it's almost like that. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the first one. It's not 7 OGNs, not 6. Because I forgot I gotta finish up On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. Now this is a thick one, so I'm not gonna be reading this all in one sitting. But typically I do try and read OGNs all in one sitting. Now this will be 5, so I'm gonna probably read 100 pages per day. So, because today was a big day. It was I also was super distracted. A lot of things happened today. But anyways, On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. Oh, and this is, so for the most part, this is a Image Comics writers pile, where the writers of these books have done stuff for Image. I bought their work, so to celebrate, I'm reading what they have for these publishers. But there is 2 of them that one of them I just said no. He's the artist. The author is an artist too, and I didn't know he just did the artwork for that book, and that I don't include. It has to be the writer. Even if he's co-writing, it has to be Rick Remender on a book, not doing the artwork. It's not Rick Remender, by the way, but you'll soon see. Next up is Swim Team by Johnny Christmas. This one, he's the author too. He's the artist I was just saying. And I think actually he does the artwork here too. But yeah, he does. So he's also an artist, and there's a book that he did the artwork for, but the writer is someone who hasn't done anything for Image. So, and usually I keep those separate now. I keep that separate nowadays. But I decided to hell with it. Let's also add in this other book that I'm meaning to read because I just realized the library had it. But anyways, Swim Team. Now this one I feel like I've read before, and I feel like I was kind of a bit underwhelmed about it. So it might be a reread to redeem, kind of, sort of, but I wanted to read this one. I had seen it a bunch of times. Whenever I looked up Johnny Christmas, it always showed this for what he did for Image. It always showed this book. So I did want to check this one out. Next up, we have Angel Catbird. This is the one that I did the artwork for. Just the artwork, though. So Johnny Christmas artwork, but actually written by Margaret Atwood. But that's fine. Whatever. I didn't want to cancel it. And I could have. It was one of those things, I think I looked it up right away. And I could have canceled it. I don't know. I can't remember. 100%. So this one, he actually did write the... Oh, nice. With Ryan Ferrier. But he says with doesn't say exactly what they did. Ah, here it is. Oh, I just did the letters for it. Never mind. Nothing to get too excited about. But Johnny Christmas's Comixology original, they can get for free on the Kindle. But physically, you gotta pay $20. So that's really testing your limits of it. Especially, I'm saying if you can get it for free because you have Comixology subscription or whatever. And that's, you see the Prime. I can get it for free, and all I have is Prime Reading. But this is Crema by Johnny Christmas. Yeah, Crema by Johnny Christmas. Comixology original. And that's it. And sometimes the Comixology originals are like issues. So you'll have like 32 pages, if that, of a book, 6 issues, and the trade comes out. But sometimes, like this one, it's an OGN. It's kind of funny that is what happens. Which is fine. I don't... No, I'm just gonna read it. I would have read it as an OGN anyways. And I'll probably do that in like... Unless in chapter form. Maybe. I don't know. Alright, like, because it says the crime caper told him. What does it actually say? It's like I blank in 3 parts. Where is it? I saw it here. Is it here? If I can't find it, we're just gonna give up. I just saw it. Huh, weird. Maybe I thought I saw it, but didn't. But it's told in 3 parts. I'll make sure it actually is 3 parts. Last roast. It's a nice flip. Artwork looks kind of like in that nice little indie style that I really, like. So that's a bonus. Nope. Because there's no... there's a chapter break, but that's like... It's very far in between, though. I know this book is kind of somewhat thick, but not that thick. Alright, do another flip through. No, it's gotta be 2 parts then. I know, like, you guys are probably like, I do not care. Keep going, but I want to check to make sure. Let's see if I'm right. Yep. Okay, there it is. So yeah, 3 parts. So maybe I'll treat this as 3 issues, because sometimes like I don't realize just how it, like, especially if it's like pacing is like a normal comic, how much that I really feel that after like 22 pages or so. So sometimes I do like to read it in that, you know. I like to read it per chapter. So this one is Shook. This is a black horror anthology, but I got this because it's written by Rodney Barnes. He does one of the stories in here. But so does Ivan Brandon. So does David F. Walker. So that was kind of a nice little added bonus there. But this one, it's one of those ones I did kind of second guess myself on, like, do I really want to check this one out? But it's like, you know what? Let's check it out. So at the end of the day, let's do it. I know, a lot of these books I have nothing to say about. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll be droning. There's going to be one that's coming up towards the end that is part of the rant that I'll definitely have more to say. But a lot of these I feel like I have nothing to say. And then I'm done talking about them. I'm like, this shouldn't be. Why am I going through 5 books in a time that takes me to go over 1 book sometimes? But sometimes I have nothing to say about the book. It's just that I got this book, it looked interesting, here's the author, here's the book title, here's what the cover looks like, that's it. This is not a comic haul where I tell you how many issues it collects, then I show you the interior artwork, then I go over the author and the artist and the colorist and inker if it applies, and all of that mess. But anyways, moving on. We have Green Arrow, Earth 1, Volume 2. Unfortunately, not of 3. This I really enjoyed. I reread it, enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time. And unfortunately, Earth 1 is supposed to be at least 3 volumes to tell the full story, and sometimes they only got 2. I think one of them only got 1. But no, Teen Titans got 2, right? I don't know. I think they only got 1. But anyways, then the last OGN is Shadow Walk by Mark Waid. Oh, sorry, this is Green Arrow Earth 1 by Gabriel Hardman and Karina Benchko. Going way too fast. Rushing. I don't know why I'm rushing. Alright, then last but not least is Shadow Walk, which is written by Mark Waid, and comes to us from, if I'm not mistaken... No, it doesn't. I know one of the publishers was Marvel, but it's also Legendary Comics. And they did, what was that book called? It was the one that the Brian Buccellato one. Head Wounds. They also did Head Wounds. And also, they also do movies, too. They're the ones behind the Godzilla movies, and sure, a bunch of other movies I just can't think of off the top of my head. That I've probably seen, unlike Godzilla. Godzilla and monster movies were never my thing. I was just kind of thought they were the same kind of thing. And they say, oh, the human characters are kind of boring. I'm like, okay, that's my ticket out of here. And at the end of the day, because, like, especially in theaters, I have to be pretty picky about what I go to see. Because, again, like with the library, I have to rely on other people to drive me to the theater. For those of you who don't know, I'm legally blind in one eye and cannot drive. So I have to rely on other people to take me places that, like the theater, the mall, and the library, which gets very annoying sometimes. And that's why I gotta be really picky about what I see in the theaters. That's why this month I'm like, am I gonna have to sacrifice not seeing Superman or not seeing Fantastic Four? Might be Superman. I might just do a recency bias kind of deal. But anyways, Shadow Walk. Yeah, this one, it's kind of funny about going back to being interested in seeing what my library had for Mark Waid books. There's a lot there that I never knew they even had. Like, apparently Mark Waid did them, so Mark Millar. Apparently Mark Waid did a Hulk run. It was which is kind of funny to find out. But anyways, yet again, Shadow Walk. And now we are done with the OGNs, and now we get into the ones in my personal collection. And if I did the math right, and hopefully I did, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to count it. We'll count after. And in worst case, I'll just add another book. But anyways, first up we have Black Science Volume 4 by Rick Remender. This is one I added last minute, and you'll soon see why. Soon as in, it's going to be towards the end. But Volume 4, Black Science, if I am doing the math right, I will be done this series by December. Again. And it's a reread. So rereads fall under 3 criteria. One, like with Black Science, I liked it so much I want to read it again. Then there's reread to redeem, where I'm rereading it. I didn't really like it the first time, and 9 times out of 10, I'll end up liking it a hell of a lot more than I did the first time around. And hardly ever the other way around. It's hardly ever I felt the same way. Now, sometimes it has to be the 3rd or 4th time, but eventually, whether or not it's just through exhaustion, I will say, I finally understand it, yay! But I would say on average it's twice. But Black Science is definitely a reread because I liked it a lot. And then the 3rd criteria is reread to refresh, where, oh, there's a new volume of the series, or, oh, they finally have the entire series of this, all the books in this series, so now I can read it all and finally finish it. Hell yeah, all that. Anyways, Black Science. Next up we have, I'm gonna count. I'm sorry, I gotta count. 1, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I gotta add one more? Well, good thing I did that when I did. Hang on, so, again. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yes, I do have to add in one more. Alright. Go to my PC, and we'll throw in the book I promised I would read, which, no. Should I be reading 2 of that book? I don't know. Oh, come on. Are you buried? Are you buried? Was I an idiot and I buried you? Alright, doing this book then. Gotta punch myself, I think. You want to be a dope? That's how you get treated. Holding up. Nope. Okay, right here. Come on out. Let's do this one. It's a little bit. No. We gotta do this one. Why am I so picky? Alright. That can be at the end, because that's not a reread. Alright. Back to it. So yeah, Black Science, Rick Remender. Really liked it. Reread because I liked it so much. Again, I'm trying. When I do with these pauses, why do I do these pauses? I'm trying to think of everything I wanted to say about what I wanted to say. And sometimes I'm like, I know there was something else I want to mention, but there's not. And just because sometimes I go, oh, the next one. It's a lot of trying to remember. And no, I'm not gonna do a script. I'll still forget. I could have a teleprompter and I will still forget to mention things, even if it's right in front of my face. That is how I am. No amount of teleprompters, whatever bullshit you guys are going to tell me about. That is good advice. I'm just saying bullshit in general. It is good advice. Don't get me wrong. Fantastic fucking advice for someone who actually can pay attention for the most part. No, I shouldn't say pay attention, but someone whose brain likes to work all the time. Sure, that'd work, but it's still not good enough for me. But anyways, moving on. But yeah, no, obviously it would be a good thing for me to have a teleprompter. I probably would remember more, and probably would work out a lot better than I think it would. But I'm not gonna do that. I like this. Super stutter. I like my content to be unscripted. Anyways, moving on. Alright. Captain Phasma, Star Wars. This is written by Kelly Thompson, and I remember really liking this one. This was another one of those Star Wars books where I said, hey, this Disney Star Wars, they just followed the comics, then maybe, just maybe, the sequel trilogy wouldn't be so controversial. But it is, because I'm not gonna be one of those guys, but honestly, I think it's common consensus that those movies aren't too great. I liked the first one. I remember, and it's a bit of bias because it was the first Star Wars movie I watched all the way through, and it's what got me into the franchise, so obviously I'm gonna like it the most. And I keep saying it too, like, oh, I'm gonna watch the original trilogy, because I still have yet to watch I still yet to finish all of Return of the Jedi. I can never get into it as a kid. I thought it was too slow. And honestly, watching that as my first Star Wars movie, that's kind of weird. When I got the Star Wars movies, my parents just gave me episodes 1 through 3 and episode 6. Maybe episodes 4 and 5 weren't available on DVD when they got the original trilogy, and then episode 6, or I don't know, but maybe I asked too much for Christmas. I, again, have no idea, but that's what I got, and for the longest time, that was all I watched. Trying to, little snippets of it, but never finished it. Alright, moving on. So yeah, did that. But yeah, Captain Phasma, I remember really liking. It was written by Kelly Thompson, so that was another one. If I forgot to mention it when I was saying, oh, there was something else by Kelly Thompson I really liked, I think it was Captain Phasma that I was thinking of. Cable and Deadpool by Fabian Nicieza. Because of Free Agents, I finally get to read this book. Again. So yeah, first 15 are all rereads. I know, I'm kind of annoyed too. Star Wars Lando, Double or Nothing by Rodney Barnes. This one I always get confused with the other Lando book, and honestly, I think the only thing that really differentiates the two is who writes it, because I think no matter what Lando book it was, I felt the same way about each book. It was like, I thought that was okay, and I thought that was okay too. But I almost want to say I liked one Lando book more than the other. But maybe, so I'm going to say reread to refresh, asterisk, I think so. Or dot, maybe. Question mark. Astonishing Ant-Man. Kinda can't wait to finish this book. It's good. It's definitely a reread because I liked it a lot. Or I liked it enough. But definitely more 7 out of 10 than 9 out of 10. And a lot of it has to do with the incessant dialogue. There's a lot of dialogue in this book. Like, the first issue, while it was 33 pages, felt like it took me hours to read. But yes, Ant-Man Volume 3 of 3. Technically Volume 4, because there was a Second Chance Man that was just collecting a 5-issue miniseries, but then it got picked up for a limited series, or it wasn't limited, and they just got canceled at issue 13, but it got canceled at issue 13. Which is a really bad number to end your comic series on. I think 14 and 15, like, either 12 or 15 is a really good number. Because then you got trades that are consistent, especially if it's 18 issues. Because you get 6 issues per volume, and that's my preferred amount of issues per volume. Where I feel like if I'm paying $16.99 for a trade, it better have 6 issues. Even if it's a 4-issue miniseries and it's still the same amount of pages because one issue is a lot longer than your average issue, I still feel a bit gypped, but not really. I've definitely gotten better at feeling that way. But 6 issues, $16.99 trade, that's a hell yeah in my book. All right. Next up is I Walk with Monsters. A book I absolutely love. Probably my favorite thing that Paul Cornell has written. Have not read a whole lot of what he's written, but nothing has come close to I Walk with Monsters. He definitely put his blood, sweat, and tears into this book, and all of his efforts paid off, because this is one of the best comics I've read in a long time. One of the best modern comics ever. So definitely a reread, because I like it so much. Then we have Deathbed, and this one I just thought was okay. Feel like I should have really liked it, so this is definitely a reread to redeem. And this is written by Joshua Williamson. Spoilers for an upcoming video when I review Ghosted. I thought it was okay. So after reading Ghosted, I'm kind of like, well, maybe Joshua Williamson just is gonna be that kind of writer that I just like enough. But also, I've read his Night Terrors, which you'll still be seeing here, and I really like that, so maybe I do need to reread Deathbed. So, rereading Deathbed. I think also it was also kind of confusing, so I think I also need to reread to refresh my memory of what happened, kind of thing, so I can get a better grasp of what was going on. But it was definitely all over the place, and not in a good way, in my opinion. But that is past Justin talking there. Will future this Justin comics actually like it? Time will tell. Or like a lot more. Time will tell. Or as much as I thought I should. That's how you say it. Trinity by Kurt Busiek and Fabian Nicieza. I keep forgetting to mention this one when I say, oh, I don't like anything that Kurt Busiek wrote. No, there's this. I remember liking this one. There's also the other Trinity. There's 2 Trinity books, and I think they both came out around the same time. And one was like a 3 to 4 issue. I think it was a 3 issue because Trinity is 3 characters. So hey, 3 issues per. That's kind of nice. And it was 3 issues. And I think that I honestly want to say that one I liked a lot more than this Trinity, but I don't remember what it was called. I'm sure I could find it. I think last time I was looking up Trinity, I found that book, but yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head what exactly it was called or who wrote it. The Flash, Brian Buccellato and Francis Manapul. And no, I did not know why Francis Manapul's name is first. Okay, they're both still writing it. Good, but Brian Buccellato, because Francis Manapul, as to my knowledge, anyways, has not done any writing work for Image. He's just done artwork. He has done it for Image, but it's just artwork, and I don't count that. I count writers. That's why I call it the Image Comics writers pile. But Brian Buccellato's Flash run, I really enjoyed. This is definitely a read because I liked it enough. I would say, like, rereading it, it's definitely more towards I liked it enough to I liked it a lot. So maybe, like, moderately liked it. So when I say I liked it enough, that's kind of like saying I moderately enjoyed it. Like, I wasn't feeling like my time was being wasted or anything like that. Or I wanted to stop reading it or whatever. No, but I also wasn't super crazy about it. So this is kind of borderline one of those books I reread, and I'm like, is it really that great? But I think it was just because of not the way I was reading it. I think because maybe I was getting sick of that sort of storytelling. Not even that. I don't know. Sometimes I guess I'm just not in the right mood to reread a certain book, as silly as it sounds. But for the most part, because I'm not used to that, for the most part, I don't care. I still like it. But that's the way I am. Alright, so we got Flash. Next up we have Batman. Why did I forget something else? I mentioned Flash. There wasn't. I said that was Kurt Busiek. I said that one was... Okay, I'm good. Alright, Batman Secret Files by Various, but I mostly got this because of Ed Brisson. But you got stories from Rumiko Tamaki, who has not done anything for Image. Tony Patrick, I think is the actually artist. Let's see. You're not going to say, are you? Nope, you will. Yeah, Tony Patrick. So it's James Tynion IV, who's obviously it's done enough for Image. Ed Brisson, Mariko Tamaki, but the last two, Mariko Tamaki and Tony Patrick, at least to my knowledge, Tony Patrick hasn't done anything for Image. I know Mariko Tamaki has done anything for Image. But Batman Secret Files. And what does this collect? The Signal, Huntress, Clown Hunter, Peacekeeper 01, Batman Secret Files, Miss Miracle Molly, and then The Gardener. All Batman Secret Files issues. And remember that being pretty thick, too. They're like the super stutter. I think they were like 40 pages each or something like that. Transmetropolitan, written by Warren Ellis. This is, hopefully, well, it should be, Volume 4. Yes, Volume 4 of Transmetropolitan. This is a series that I do really like. It is definitely my top 10, but it's every time I really think about my top 5, I do keep pushing Transmetropolitan back. Like, it used to be, my top 5 used to include Y the Last Man and this book. Number 1 will always stay the same. Number 1 is Preacher, then it's Sin City, then it's Walking Dead, Paper Girls, and Wicked and Divine. But I would honestly say Wicked and Divine and Paper Girls is switch. So it's actually, like the actual top 5 is Preacher, Sin City, Wicked and Divine, Walking Dead, and Paper Girls. I would say that's my top 5. And then 6 through 10, I kind of have to really think about what those 5 are. But Transmetropolitan is probably going to end up being number 10. It's a good series, don't get me wrong, but every time I reread it, I do find more and more that I'm like, I don't really like how that is, or that is. Really nitpicky stuff, but it's kind of one of those things that it kind of makes the book less good. Not significantly so, it's still a 9 out of 10, but it's gone from a 9.5 to a 9. But not too noticeable. It's still one I highly recommend people read, and it will never ever not be topical. It'll always be ahead of its time. It's way ahead of its time, honestly. Like, there's stuff in here that I'm like, that's crazy. That's kind of funny how he somewhat predicted the future. I say somewhat because it's not exact, but it's like, yeah, there's certain parallels you can make to modern day politics. But I think what the funniest thing is, and not to be a Debbie Downer, but it's probably because times haven't changed as much as we think they may have from the past, or how much better things were before, and maybe they weren't that much better. Kanto, finally getting to reread this, and the library was, and I didn't even do this, it was them themselves, like, hey, let's do Kanto, and then they have all 4 volumes. I think almost 5, but I think it's just 4. So hopefully, 4 library visits later, 4 Image Comics Writers Piles books later, you'll see Kanto. But time will tell. Next up, we have Night Terrors by Joshua Williamson, the aforementioned Joshua Williamson book that I actually liked. But this one was pretty good. I do kind of wish the library would get the omnibus. That's how much I like this book. So definitely a reread because I liked it so much. Same with Kanto, as you can kind of tell. Oh, damn it. Kanto is written by David M. Booher. And the funniest thing is all the library has is Ghostbusters book, Rain, and then this. Which I think is maybe all he's done, actually. I thought there was another one they didn't have. I was like, oh, what, they have this? Oh, they don't, damn it. But they have all 4 volumes of Kanto. And I really enjoyed Kanto. So Kanto by David M. Booher is definitely a reread because I liked it so much. Now let's all collectively pretend you did not see Night Terrors until just now. So Night Terrors was the aforementioned Joshua Williamson book that I said I really enjoyed this one, and adding more reason to have reread Deathbed. But again, I just read Ghosted. Like I said before, I just read Ghosted, and I was like, that was okay, not great, good, not great. So maybe that's just the genre, but this is also horror. I don't know. But anyways, Night Terrors by Joshua Williamson. I don't think anybody else. Nope. Does not look like it. But I wish the library would get the omnibus. Because I remember really liking this book, and the omnibus has some pretty interesting tie-ins here and there. That's the thing, like, it really, and honestly, Night Terrors, from what I was reading, you didn't need to check out the tie-ins, and the hardcover here was a pretty good collection of what you absolutely needed to read to have context. So I'll just say that. All right, Wonder Woman, Volume 5 of 6 of Brian Azzarello's run on Wonder Woman. I've absolutely loved reading this again and again and again and again. If I did like top 10 runs of previously established characters, like best Batman runs and Superman, Wonder Woman, Spider-Man, X-Men, but squeeze those all together into one top 10, this would definitely be at least at top 10, or at least at number 10. Maybe even, like, I would say, like, if I had to give you an actual number, like what I actually thought it was, I would say number 3. It's that good. And it's a shame that more people have not checked out that run. Scalped Deluxe Edition, Book 4. Unfortunately, this will be the last Deluxe Edition I will have, last one the library has, lending or otherwise, of Scalped, for Deluxe Editions at least. Now this is the reread to refresh, because I finally got volumes 9 and 10. And I say finally, and honestly, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it was always there, wasn't it? And the library's catalog was just being annoying and telling the librarian that does the ILLs, nope, it's not available because it's a computer. Maybe it's a computer. I blame the technology. I don't blame the Living Library at all. Although it's 100% certain, it's certain, definitely not. I don't say 100%, but definitely certain that the library lost the copy. And maybe they finally got the new copy, but hopefully they did. Hopefully it's not just one of those books that say, oh yeah, we have it, and it takes forever for it to go to shipped, and then it turns out, oh wait, nope, we don't have it, sorry. Knock on wood, hopefully that doesn't happen. But yes, Scalped. Jason Aaron. Before I forget. Now onto the ones I'm reading for the first time ever. But this one I read the first 2 or 3 issues of, so it's a halfer. It's a halvesies. But this one collects Thor 1 through 6, so it's exactly half. I've read exactly half of the first volume of Donny Cates' run on Thor. This one, from what I remember reading, you had to read so much other Donny Cates stuff, but I'm going to ignore that 100% because it's one of those books I feel like I have to at least read what's available to me, and all that's available, unfortunately, is just volume 1. So like with Venom, I'm only going to be reading the first 6 issues of Thor unless things change. That's fine by me, but Donny Cates is Thor. And what's funny about Donny Cates' Thor is that Venom, also by Donny Cates, the first volume collects 1 through 6. Neat little parallel there. Alright. The Roadie. This one is so thin, I had to make sure it was not an OGN. It just only collects 4 issues. Written by Tim Seeley. Another one of those books I just was like, I never thought they had that. I never even heard about this book. And I'm surprised because I thought I knew everything that I'd seen, at least seen everything that Tim Seeley had written. Because there's been a few times recently I've bought Tim Seeley books, not last minute, but kind of like, yeah, why not do that one? Not really a last minute, kind of like a last resort, if anything. I have enough money left over. Hey, Tim Seeley's Arrival. Hey, Loaded Bible. Let's finally get that. It rhymes. Loaded Bible Arrival. Revival of Loaded Bible. Alright. The Roadie. Tim Seeley. Well, actually, these aren't co-authored. It doesn't really matter. But sometimes I get surprised. This one is the one that I was alluding to that I got because of Angel Catbird. But this one is a not an OGN. Oh, this one is not written by an Image Comics writer, but I wanted to get Ultimate X-Men by Peach Momoko anyways. And I did not care about the whole, nope, I'm not doing that. We're reading Ultimate X-Men because I want to read Ultimate X-Men. The first volume, at least. Like with Donny Cates' Thor, it may just be volume 1, that's it. But at least, unlike Donny Cates' Thor, Ultimate X-Men isn't ongoing. Lotus Land by Darcy Van Polargeese. So, one thing I do want to mention about the library's Interloan catalog, where I get 90% or 95% is still too low. 97% of the comics that I check out from my local library are thanks to their Interloan system. And as of this recording, there are two places, two catalogs two websites that you can order books from on the library, for the local library to get. Interloaned, of course. And the thing about that is that there's a reason why there's two catalogs, other than the fact that, hey, we got this new website, we can use it, so why not use it? The newer catalog is a lot better. The newer catalog, you have a 9 out of 10 chance of getting the book. As long as it's available and not too recent, you'll get it within, like, sometimes the same day, the day you order. If you order it early enough, like you order it like 7 o'clock in the morning, there's a good chance you'll get that day, or within that week. Like, I would say the longest you'll have to wait is a week and a few days. I know when I was ordering Sin City, actually one of them was like 14 days. It's ridiculous. And that was just because the library was like really far away. But that's the most you have to wait. So on average, it is 5 days, I would say. Then there's their main catalog, their oldest catalog they still deal with to this day. And that is a 50% chance, and even that's being generous, of you actually getting the book you ordered. And sometimes it's, the library doesn't want to lend it to us, or, the library, that lending library, someone already checked that book out. So it's checked out of that library, so the only library that has it, you gotta wait. Or they said it wasn't available, or they lost it, and it'll go into the sometimes it'll go in the retry file, and you'll get it after a while, maybe it's a week later, it'll say, actually in transit. That did happen with one of these books, but for the most part, it's, sorry, you can't get it. And I hate to get your hopes up too. And I blame I blame the technology, 100%. It's not the fault of the library or anything like that. And sometimes, what I'll do is I'll put it in once, it won't come. Like Darth Vader, Dark Visions. I put that in 40 times. I want to say it's actually almost 40 times. I think it was double digits. I think it was literally 10 times. And the 10th time, they said, oh yeah, we have it. Here you go. And I was like, what happened to the 8,000 times before? There was no way, by pure coincidence, every time when I check out the fucking book, it was like, oh, we don't have it, oh no. And it was just like, no, you gotta have it. There's no way you don't have the book. I refuse to believe that by sheer fucking coincidence, it's like, oh, no, someone checked it out, sorry. No, I don't believe that. I'm glad you had it, though. So I'm not gonna go on too much of a rant here, but I'm glad they had it. But yeah, sometimes that'll happen. I'm still pissed I could not get The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror Omnibus. I'm not collecting, so this is something I want to address. I'm not collecting Simpsons comics anymore, but if it's available to me for free, and it piques my interest, even just a little tad bit, I'm like, you know what, I'll check it out. And they said, and I was like, 2 libraries too, and like none of them wanted to lend it. One didn't want to lend it, and then one was the school library, so I couldn't lend it. It's weird. The school libraries are like a 50, or like a 40, 60. Like it's a good day in New Hampshire. So that's the state I live in. It's a good day in New Hampshire when bright sunny day in New Hampshire when the school library says, "Yep, we'll give you this book." But yes, Lotus Land I did not expect to get. That is the whole point. I was going on such a long tangent. I was like, wait, what was the point of this again? So Lotus Land, I was legitimately shocked they actually had. I put it in, I'm like, they're not going to have it. They did. There's another one coming up that was also like, not going to have this one, are they? But I'll say what it is when we get to it. But first, we got to get to Ruse Volume 2, The Silent Patient. Partner, not patient. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. It was his silent partner. Whoopsie. So this is Volume 2. And no, I don't have Volume 1. So, great. I'm going to be a little bit lost. But sometimes, with books, it doesn't even matter that I check out Volume 1. But this is from CrossGen, and I've heard of them off and on over the years, but sometimes I just completely forget about them. But, written by Mark Waid, so I want to check this one out. But yeah, oopsie. I'm gonna be reading Ruse at least. I don't think they even had Volume 1. They probably did. They had to have. But yeah, starting on Volume 2. Maybe Volume 1 wasn't written by Mark Waid, although I want to say it was. But I figured that was going to happen because when I checked out Ruse, because I wanted to make sure it was an OGN or if it was collecting actual issues, and it did. But then it said, "Oh, Volume 1 is called this." I was like, "Wait, it is? All right. Hopefully that's what I'm getting. Maybe it's a complete collection. Yeah, okay. All right. So now on to the other one. Honestly, Ruse, because." So I said Mark Waid is interested. Oh, they even had a Hulk. Yeah, blah blah blah. This is another one I never heard of, and I was surprised they had. And honestly, I was surprised they were able to lend it to me. So that was, to be fair, the same dealio there. But The Displaced by Ed Brisson was one I truly thought they would not have. And a little game I like to play is checking. Oh my God, it's Dover. So Dover is going through a huge crisis on Infinite Earths with their library. They're doing a whole revamp of their library. So some books they straight up will say, we will not lend this until our library is stocked. And it's like, why are you doing this? And it's a big library too. So it's, from what I've heard, it's going to be like next year. So that's great. And no, that's not what happens. That's not like thing happened to that Darth Vader book. It wasn't even from Dover anyways. But anyways, actually, I don't think it was. They've not been doing renovations for that long. But anyways, The Displaced, Ed Brisson. And now to the one that really pissed me off. This was a surprise. How much I wish I could say I own this book. And it's library had it. I like it so much, I bought it myself. Or, like I almost did with Joshua Hale Filkiov's Echoes, a novelty. I check it out because the library has it, but I own it, whatever the hell you want to call it. But no. Gang Lords of China just decided to be one of those books that it just pisses me off. Now by the skin of its teeth, I was able to order this last minute, thankfully. There was something that happened that was like a save me kind of thing. But it still pisses me off immensely that this happened. But, and this is a great example of me being a completist. Like, do I really need to do that? No, I don't. But I had, like, if I wasn't such a completist, I wouldn't give a shit. But Gang Lords of China by Ivan Brandon. Spoilers for one of the books in my comic haul for this month. We're almost done here. Sandman Universe, Nightmare County, written by James Tynion IV. This is one that I remember seeing and I almost bought back in the day. The individual issues, and then on the Kindle. And then I forgot about it. But then the library had it, and I was like, "Oh, nice! I want to check this one out." James Tynion seems to be really good at horror. That Silver Coin, spoilers for that review too. He did one of the best issues in that anthology. And come on, brain. Come on, brain. Kick in. Let's get those gears moving. Get the cobwebs out of the gears. So I have high hopes for this book. Not like trying to get super high expectations. I'll never be met, of course, but I do have there's a lot of potential going into this book. Because of the Silver Coin issue, because of what I've read so far of Something is Killing the Children, and because it is James Tynion. I have high hopes for Nightmare County. Is it county or country? Country. So it's not like Undiscovered Country. What's the county book I read? Oh, it's not like Harrow County. It's like Undiscovered Country. Gotta remember that. It's kind of one of those things. It's like country versus county. Like, wait. Sometimes I'll say the wrong thing. Hell, I may have said the wrong thing the first time. Alright. The Amazing Spider-Man. Who Am I? This is one I've never heard of. And when there's a Spider-Man book I've never heard of, especially written by someone that I want to check out their work, this is written by Joshua Hale Fialkov, who I just recently bought his image book from. So it's kind of like, hey, that's kind of cool. And of course, it's from the Infinite Comics. What the hell? But do you at least do a thing where you're like, oh, we release these as 5 individual issues, right? Let's see. I don't have to read this all in one sitting. I shouldn't have to. Alright, come on. Where do you end? Ugh. Because there's no way that this is 12. So what probably happened is that it was like 15 pages of story for each of the 12 issues that you got for free on Marvel Unlimited. That's probably why I've never heard of this book, too. This is a pretty thin book. Honestly, I want to say it was like 10 pages each. For it, and it makes sense, because it does look like it was 120 pages. So yeah, I just hate that, because... Yeah. The reason why I hate it is because I feel like I should be completed. If this said 1 through 6, I would not have batted an eye. But it's 1 through 12, which means it's probably 10 pages each. So maybe I'll read like 2 per and count that as an issue, but I don't know. I might just make this an OGN. Probably should. No, I'm not gonna do that. I shouldn't do that. No, I can make an OGN. So you know what I should probably do is add in another book for my PC. I know what you guys are saying it. I'm saying it too. It's a bit ridiculous. No, I can't do that. I read 2 a day. I don't want to have to... It's a bit risky, but I'll do it. Or should I? Why do I care so much? That's a great question that you guys should definitely ask, and I will definitely have a great answer for it that will appease all of you. No, I really don't know. It's one of those things that it shouldn't matter that much to me. It's still a issue of a book, you know? And that's, you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do. So I might add in one more last minute. I might decide to do that. So, time will tell, but, yeah. There's just too much book to go through. I'm not going to do that right now. Alright. Next, actually, you know what I'll do? I'll read 2 of a book. That's a good idea. Because there's some thick books in here. And I'm trying to get these read within at least 10 days after this coming Monday. So yeah, I'll probably just do that. Worst case, that's what I'll do. Alright. And I should not put this in as the last book. Okay, so 2 more books, and then we're done. Well, you know what? Actually, if I'm doing that, I can do whatever I want. You know what? I'm doing this. I want to do this. I'm doing this. And I can. Where's book 2? Oh, come on. Why did I do that to myself? Yeah, where did I put book 2? Crap. Because it's a series I wanted to continue. And it was a great idea to do is to add that in. That's a great idea because I can take out Spider-Man, and so be it. I read 2. Well, actually, I was going to do that anyways with that Johnny Christmas book, so that works out too. Yeah, so those of you guys who want to know, this is what I like doing sometimes. It's making a video like this. It's not exactly organized, but I would argue it's kind of fun doing it like this. I'm not going to do this every video, of course. I'm going to try not to do this consistently as I am. No, there it is. Come here, book. Here we go. Alright. So thank God I put that as like the last book because I don't have to go by, soft cover to hardcover. Alright. So you just saw, so I'll put back into my OGN pile. And I'll read it all in one sitting, or I'll read it like 6 issues. That's all I'll do. I'll read it 6, yes! I'll read it 6 issues. Alright. That's what I'm going to do. So technically, because I'm reading it 6 issues, like with Ultimate X-Men, I'm not reading it at the same time I read all these books, but still I want to put in that pile. Okay. Alright. Now I'm confusing all you guys, so we're just gonna move on. Alright. Cataclysm, The Ultimate Last Stand. A book I had no idea existed, and when I ordered it, I was like, there's no way in hell that they're gonna have this book, is there? And sometimes, it was kind of funny about this book, is that the dust jacket comes off. No tape. Most of the time, the library will just have a tape put on. I know my local library likes to put the tape on the dust jacket, which is fine, because it's sturdy enough, so it's not like I never feel like I'm ripping or damaging the dust jacket when I'm reading the book. But I also like it when it's taken off. Okay, so what does he write? He writes, the first 4 issues, the .1 issue, Brian Michael Bendis writes 5 of them, and then the last 3. But then Joshua Hale comes back for the 3 of them, and then Ultimate X-Men. So the Ultimates, so he does 1, 2, 6, 10, 11 issues. And Brian Michael Bendis just does 7. So written by Joshua Hale Flakeyov, first and foremost, but also Brian Michael Bendis does some issues here. Now, they're both Image writers, but Brian Michael Bendis has moved all his stuff, all his Image stuff, to other publishers, meaning that those original trades are kind of hard to come by, and even then, I don't even know if all the volumes of the entire series of Powers is available in trade from Image Comics. Even then, probably old. So, but time will tell. Oh my god, they got this. That's why. October 2024. That's crazy. What library had it? Huh. Justin, why didn't you tell me what library it was from? I said Dover, so. But it's not going to mean anything to you guys. I don't normally say what libraries I'm getting these books from. Alright. Now the final 2 books are from my PC, starting with Volume 2, Omnibus of the Boys. This is very, very risky, because I'm trying to read and finish every one of these books that I've shown off. I am trying to finish for August 12th. Now, let's do the math. Shall we? Alright, so I start on Monday. I'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 days to read these if I somehow miraculously get to the library on that Monday. I'm not going away on Tuesday. No, it's the 13th. I think, no, it's the 12th. I gotta check the email. I gotta check the text now. So, 13 maybe? Yep, August 13th to 16th. Okay, I think. I don't know. But if it's the 12th, good. That's the day I return all those books. The last of those books at least. But yeah, time will tell if I actually do finish these. I'm trying to. And if I have to read 2 of something at the end of the day, I'm gonna do that. But The Boys Omnibus Volume 2. Because I want to finally finish The Boys. I have all the omnibuses, plus Dear Becky, in my PC, and I've had them for a long fucking time. There is no excuse for me not having finished the series. And I read one spoiler, because it was like, because if you watch one thing with The Boys, YouTube was like, boom, here's everything. Spoilers or not, boom, here's everything. And it's one of those things where, like, if I had just read the goddamn comics when I said I was going to, even last year, it wouldn't have mattered. So I decided to hell with it. They're getting the Lord above is giving me a sign, and I'm gonna take his word, and I'm gonna finish this goddamn series. Gosh darn series. And last but not least is another series, but only because I said, so I said this when I was reading Volume 2 of Ultimate X-Men by Mark Millar. Oh, sorry, Garth Ennis. Garth Ennis by, so it's written by Garth Ennis. That's another thing, too. I love me some Garth Ennis. Why haven't I finished this yet? Alright, so let's again pretend I did not show Ultimate X-Men yet. So this next one, so when I was reading Volume 2 of Ultimate X-Men by Mark Millar, I did say, hey, I have the complete collection for Volume 2 that collects the next 12 issues. And then the library has Volumes 5 and up, and I want to see if they at least have the Mark Millar series. Again, it's their older system, so do they have it? Maybe not. But I wanted to do me a solid, and not doing a solid, so I want to do that. I want to finally finish the series, so here is Ultimate X-Men Ultimate Collection Volume 2. Or, alternatively, Volumes 3 and 4 of Ultimate X-Men. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that, as they say. 54 minutes, my god. Alright, I gotta get going. I am still in my second book, and it's 5 o'clock. There's no excuse for me doing this. We gotta get off this train of... It was a big day. And today was not at all what I was expecting, for the most part. But it's been It's been a kind of an annoying day, honestly. But at least I got to film this video.